Hi, I'm Ashley Adamson, and we're going to talk about your relationship to the mirror. How is your relationship to the mirror? What is it that you see there? And how can we help you grow in a way that you can become better at things? So this was inspired by my talk at the Philadelphia Trans Wellness Conference a few weeks ago, and it was related to mental health. And I think this is really important to think about, which is that all trans people, and if you're trans or not trans, but you have a relationship, you do, with the mirror, it affects the way that you see yourself. And when you think of your body and your brain and the soft emotion aspect to it, they're all intertwined with your experience in looking in your mirror, because it reinforces what? Your identity, what you see, and as a consequence, who you are, right? So depending on how you're feeling, that's going to affect how you see things when you look at yourself in the mirror. If you're feeling pretty bad and you look in the mirror, you're probably going to also project that feeling onto what you're seeing. If you're feeling good, you may have a different feeling of what you see. And when you look in the mirror, you also think, well, the mirror is representing a physical thing, so it must be real because it's one-to-one. But don't forget, your brain is wired in ways to see yourself and ways to see how you are. Do you ever feel like you emphasize your perception on certain aspects of what you see in the mirror? And when you do that, do you think that it's affecting your perception of what you see? How do you know that what you see is objective? Have you asked other people to tell you what they think? And have they told you something different? Have you seen something different in mirrors? I have a lot of different looks, and when I see myself in these videos, I think I look pretty good. But when I see myself in the mirror, I don't think the same thing. But I know through objective truth, when I can look at a picture, I can say, I like what I see. So therefore, I must have some kind of bias in what I'm seeing. I may be focusing my brain on certain characteristics and certain things on my face and what I see. So every time you look at the mirror, this is the next phase. Every time you look at the mirror, you're building and reinforcing certain neural connections in your brain that reinforce how you see yourself. So much so that it becomes so real that you don't even see it happening. And this is where perception comes into play and why it's super important, because if you want to undo what you see in the mirror and who you think you are, you need to undo your perception, which then helps you undo your neurological wiring and how you engage with what you see in the mirror. Transitioning is a magical process, and it takes a lot of effort and time to reconfigure your brain so that it learns to see someone else. Because you've grown up with your face up to this point and what you've seen, and when you begin to transition, you're basically trying to flip the script a bit and change the way that you've reinforced your own perception of how you see yourself, right? Like, do you even think when you look in the mirror, or do you just look in the mirror and go, yeah, that's what I see? That right there, that's how you don't evolve. That's how you get stuck in what you see and how you prevent yourself from unseeing something that you should be able to see. Now, I'm not talking about, hey, just say really positive things in the mirror and say, I look great and I'm really positive and I love myself. I'm not saying that. That's a good thing to do, but I'm not saying you need to do that. I'm saying you need to think about how you're reinforcing and teaching yourself how to see yourself every time you look at yourself in the mirror. Every time you look at yourself in the mirror, you tell a story. This is how we work. This is how we are as humans. This is how we are as beings. We have lived lives and we've grown up genetically, and our brains are wired to creating stories. And through this, we also have our ego, which is important for survival, to attach to a story which we then construct as an identity. And so your identity is this construct of your story, which is then tied to your body and what you perceive to be yourself. This is kind of trippy, because if you take a step back and say, well, I'm attached to this story and I've identified with it and I've made it attached to what I see as who I think I am, If you disconnect yourself from those parts that I just listed, you can unconstruct or deconstruct your reality, right? You can deconstruct all of your reality. Now, I don't mean disassociate, because disassociation is not going to help you get to a place of reintegration and becoming a new person. But if you know these mechanics, you can kind of see which parts you need to work on. If I go in the mirror and I know this is a weakness, and I cite it as a weakness because it is my weakness, I go in the mirror, I look at my lips are too big. My lips are always too big. They never look right. I don't like my skin. My skin doesn't look right. I have these bumps on my face. These bumps are weird. These are all little stories. These are all little self-talk narratives that keep reinforcing themselves if I let them when I look in the mirror. And it doesn't come through as words because it's so deep within my own brain that it's just a feeling at this point. Do you know what I mean? Do you have these feelings where you just feel them and it has no words to it? Because that neural connection is so much shorter and so much more reinforced and deeper that you don't need to be conscious of it, and it can keep reinforcing itself so deeply in your brain that it doesn't even feel like anything happened, because it now is just your reality. So what I've done, and this is a tip in how you can kind of start rebuilding your relationship, is to prepare yourself before you go in and look at yourself at the mirror. Before you look at the mirror, say, I am about to look at the mirror, and when I look at the mirror, I'm going to project something else in my mind and in my consciousness when I see things. And for me, I know it's that my eyes focus on my lips first, and that's where it anchors its perception, and then it moves up from there. So what I do is I walk and I go into the bathroom, and I look at my eyes first, and I say, don't focus on your lips. Look at the whole face. Look at how it all comes together. Look at the whole package. And that's going to make you feel better, Ashley. Does that make sense? I'd love to hear from you, and let me know if you practice this and try it and see if you make some progress. I'll see you in another episode soon. Please like and subscribe, by the way, and support me on Patreon if you can. I'll see you later. Bye.